Throwdown Nation, it is Wednesday night. We are live and in living color. We are streaming right now on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And tonight is episode 46 of the Throwdown with Matt. And tonight it is my pleasure to have with me another Atlanta-based wrestler, the Big Don Cameron. How you doing, Don?
How you doing, Matt? I'm all right. I'm doing just fine.
Awesome. Well, I know the other day I had Dallas Cage on as my guest, and he's another WWA 4 guy.
Hey,
Another AR Fox product. We'll start with the first and most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
Well, I've only been wrestling for about 2 years. I started early in 2022, and I've been going strong ever since. Yeah, I'm still kind of new to the game, as a lot of people would say. But yeah, I've been doing this for 2 years.
Gotcha. And like I said, you're a WWA 4 guy, and it sounds like you've trained mostly under AR Fox. Anybody else involved in your training?
Well, yes, we have a plethora of guys who have graduated before us who come back and impart wisdom on us at the school. You have guys like Takuri, guys like Ariel Van Gogh, guys like Alex Kane. They come back from every now and then and give us some wisdom from their days on the road. And it's a real family oriented place at the A4. So you never know who's gonna come in. Like we've had some AEW guys come in. Yeah, you never know who's going to come in and impart their wisdom. But yeah, for the most part, I have been trained under AR Fox. He's one of the greatest trainers, if not the greatest trainer in the state of Georgia. Of course, I'm a little biased. All of the A4 guys are probably going to tell you that. But yeah, he's really a good trainer, though.
Absolutely. I've seen some of his work on AEW, and he's a fantastic wrestler. So
Yes, he is. And AEW needs to push him, but hey, I don't have
yeah,
nothing to do with that.
exactly. Well, it's funny that you brought up Ariel Van Gogh. I actually ran across him earlier today. I had not seen him before, and that cat has some. He is innovative.
Yes, he is. He is. He does a lot of innovative things in the ring.
Mm-hmm. I actually messaged him here, on Instagram, hoping to get him on for a future episode. So I've got my fingers crossed.
Oh yeah, well, Van Gogh, you hear him? We trying to get you on the show.
Absolutely. So, in the early days of your training, what would you say was the most challenging part? What was the most challenging thing to overcome or get used to?
Well, for me, as a big guy, it was always going to be cardio. Like
Mm-hmm.
once I got past the cardio aspect of it, then I was able to kind of pick up the pace and train alongside the rest of my peers. But yeah, the hardest thing for me was definitely the cardio. I thought I had a little bit of shape in me from playing ball, and no, pro wrestling shape and football or basketball or baseball shape, completely different things. Like you can't think that you're gonna walk into there and be like perfect and not tired from doing a day of pro wrestling training. No, it's a different beast.
Got you. One thing I will say to everybody that's watching this live right now, if you have any questions or comments, throw them in the chat. And at the end, we'll do a viewer Q&A session, and all questions and comments will be read and answered. Speed round. Triple H. Hello? Looks like you froze up. Don? 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 Okay, we seem to have lost him. I'm going to ping him real quick and see if we can get him to reconnect. Well, in the meantime, what I'll do while I'm waiting for him to hopefully reconnect is I'll go ahead and let you guys know coming up tomorrow night, Thursday, November 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I've got episode 47, and that's going to be with my guest, who is a wrestler based in the great state of Florida, the entitled millennial Forrest Nystrom. Then next Tuesday, November 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern, um, I'm going to have episode 48, and that will be with a wrestler and actually a deathmatch specialist, the Suplex Machine Anthrax. And then next Wednesday, November 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 49 with a wrestler who is based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee by the name of Jameson Shook. So that's what's coming up. Let me see if I can get a hold of him. Okay, looks like he's trying to log back in. So hopefully we'll get him back on here and we can continue with this. Let me take a look over at the... Hello?
Am I back?
I'm hearing you. I'm not seeing you.
Yeah, okay. Give me a second. I gotta get this camera back on.
No problem. But yeah, I was talking away at you, and suddenly I realized you had frozen. And
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it might have been the Wi-Fi made a cut out for a second.
gotcha.
Yeah, because it just stopped on me.
Well,
now,
you know, I've been doing these live streams long enough that you know, if something doesn't go sideways, it's not a live stream.
okay, we had it set up. Okay.
What we can do in the meantime while you're working on getting the camera back is I don't know where exactly you cut out, but I was actually doing the first speed round name, and that was Triple H.
Oh wow, I missed it.
So when I say the name Triple H, what is the first thing that pops into your mind?
The Cerebral Assassin.
Absolutely.
His nickname, you know, that he's one of the few people that actually like showed me what it was like to be a character and to actually know how to tell the story with your character in multiple ways, not just on the mic, but how I move in the ring, how I carry myself, my entrance, the things that I wear. Like he put it all together. He was one of the first people that I actually noticed when it came to character building. He was one of the first people that I studied.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's and it's the irony is not lost on me that the two main guys from D-Generation X are now running the company. And Hunter and Sean are doing amazing work right now with WWE.
Yes, they are. I'm so like I talk to my son about it all the time, and it's like, man, you don't understand, son. I watched these guys growing up wrestle, and now you're watching them as suit guys. They're the guys that are putting on the shows and the guys that are
Yeah,
running the show, and it's a different experience watching them go from the inside the ring to outside of the ring. You didn't see the hijinks. You didn't see the D-Generation X in its peak. Like you seen the older version when they were coming out of retirement and doing side off matches. It's crazy.
right. Absolutely. Yeah, it's so, like I said, I'll just kind of continue while you're working on trying to get the camera back. But so, have you been a fan of this stuff pretty much all of your life? And if so, what is your earliest wrestling related memory?
Yes, I basically have been a fan all my life. My earliest wrestling memory coincidentally has Triple H involved. And it would be the night that him and Sean wrestled in the match with the hot coal. I can't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was one of my earliest memories because it was like, what are they doing? Like I didn't know what pro wrestling was at the time, and then one of the first matches I see is like y'all running on hot coal.
I remember that. Yep, yep, yep,
But
yep.
it kind of opened the door for me to more than just the wrestling. Like for my first experience, they weren't just wrestling. So I never got into it for the actual sport of it right away. I was always into it for the theatrics and the comedy spots and the what are they gonna do besides actually wrestling and hitting each other. That was kind of my first impression of pro wrestling.
Gotcha. So, was there a particular point in your fandom where you kind of looked at the TV and you were like, you know what, I think I could do this.
Okay, so right around middle school. So around middle school, I had started playing football and I started doing my other sports. I played basketball a little bit. I played a little baseball. Wrestling at this point was one of the biggest things to me. I was a huge fan at this time, and I had those thoughts back then. I never fully thought that I can do it, but I would say around 7th or 8th grade would have been the time where I would be like, I could do that. At least that's the time when I first started to say I can do that. Even if I didn't believe it at the time, that those were the years when I would start to say to myself, yeah, I could do that. If I wanted to wrestle, I could do it. I can get in the ring. I can roll around. And look at me now. I was actually able to do it. So I guess I was right. I kind of wish I would have tested myself a little earlier in life, but we all have our own journey.
Absolutely. And you know what? You're chasing your dream, you're betting on yourself, and you're taking the necessary chances to make the dream happen, and that's admirable.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, are you having any luck with the camera?
Actually, I went and got a little bit of help. I got my little brother helping me out right now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a little bit more technical with the computer that I'm using.
Gotcha. That's fine. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
Well, when I'm not focused on wrestling, I like to do music. Yeah, that's one of my biggest hobbies outside of wrestling, and I also coach.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So, as far as music goes, do you play an instrument, or are you a vocalist? Or tell me about that.
Well, actually, I used to play the saxophone. I'm a little rusty on it now. It's been a while, but I used to play the saxophone back in my school days. I played both the tenor sax and the baritone sax. And now with my music, I basically just I'm a vocalist. I make rap music.
Gotcha, gotcha. My wife actually played tenor sax when she was in high school. She was in the marching band for Douglas County High School. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah,
Okay, we got a fellow musician.
yep. And I play bass guitar and a little bit of normal guitar as well, just hobbyist type stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been trying to get back into it. I got to find some time to get back on the saxophone. It's been a while, and I kind of want to get back into it before I lose that touch completely. Like it's been a good long time before I really just sat down and actually played with it, and I want to get back to that.
Gotcha. Speed round. Rhea Ripley.
Oh, dominant. Right now she's well. Right now she's not as dominant. Hope get well soon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But for the past year and a half, yeah, like you can't tell me no other woman has really been as dominant. Like you literally had to go and change. You had to stack the cards against her for her to not be as dominant as she was. But yeah, dominant, definitely. Anytime I hear Rhea, that's what I'm thinking about.
Absolutely. I there really are not a lot of women right now that physically can hang with her. I mean, she is just almost a force of nature.
Yes, she is.
you know, um, a woman that really lately hasn't been utilized all that much that I would actually like to see Rhea Ripley get into a program with would be Shayna Baszler.
That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be very interesting. I can see Shayna giving her a run.
Hmm. I
I can
think
see Shayna giving
I
her a run
think
for her money.
I think they could have some fun matches together actually. But
Yeah, we might have to petition that.
yeah, yeah, we'll have to drop Hunter a line and say, hey, we got this idea.
You got me, yeah. maybe you'll like it.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? So the dream is always to completely make your living doing wrestling. Uh, but I'm presuming that that is still kind of a work in progress. So do you have I guess for lack of a better term a day job?
Yes, I have a day job. I actually work at UPS.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you're getting into the busy time of year.
like I'm we're just tossing boxes right now, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna get very hectic in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm working with UPS. That's been my day job for a couple of weeks now.
Awesome, awesome. So you had mentioned that your hometown is basically the Atlanta area. So
Yeah.
what is your favorite thing about Atlanta?
Well, it was that we had our own everything, but we really don't have our own anything anymore. Everybody's here, but that's what I actually love about my city. And like anybody could come here, and it doesn't matter where you're from. You once you're here, you're here. Like it's hard to leave. It's hard to stay away. I've ran into a lot of people who, when they first got here, they didn't like it and they claimed they weren't gonna stay, and it was the worst place they've ever been to. And a week later, I'm gonna move down here, or I'm gonna stay, or we ran into a situation and we're gonna be here a little bit longer. It's just like being in the city of Atlanta. It is what it is. We have our own vibe. Like you can't go anywhere else and get what you can get from Atlanta.
Very true. Very true. So, they say that the best in-ring persona is essentially yourself turned up to 11. So tell me about, I guess, in-ring Don Cameron and kind of compare and contrast him with everyday you.
Well, the biggest difference I would say between in ring Don and everyday me probably would be the in ring Don is much more vocal. Like you probably won't hear from everyday me nearly as much as you would hear from in ring Don. You're gonna hear from in ring Don probably all night if he has a chance to talk. You're gonna hear from him the entire night. But everyday me, yeah, I'm very laid back. I'm very chill. I'm not one of the people to be in everyone's face. I like to walk into the room and see what everyone's doing rather than everybody to see what I'm doing. So yeah, that would probably be the biggest difference. My in-ring persona is very much more bold and boisterous, But I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not, but yeah, the in-ring version of me has much less of a time clock than I do. It takes a lot more for the everyday me to get riled up like it takes for Don, the in-ring version.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Just a reminder for everybody that's watching this live, if you have any questions or comments, throw them in chat, and we'll do a little viewer Q&A at the end, and all questions and comments will be read and answered. Speed round. Speedball Mike Bailey.
Innovative.
Yep.
He's someone that does some innovative moves before, and we've met Mike Bailey at the A4 before. We had like a Forbidden Four match between a couple of his students and a couple of guys at the four. But he's another guy that's innovative. His the shooting star double knee, yeah. That move itself is crazy and innovative in itself, and that is all you need to really know. Once you see that one move, you kind of can tell, okay, this is a guy that's gonna push the envelope and try to do something different.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love watching his matches. He is somebody that I will go out of my way to watch a Mike Bailey match. The match that he had a little while back now with Josh Alexander on TNA was just
Yes,
crazy good.
yes, it was.
So tell us about your first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts going into it, and your thoughts coming out of it? All of that.
Okay, my first match was actually a 6-man tag, and I wasn't even supposed to be in that match. I was just there at the right time, and the person that was supposed to be in the match wasn't there at the right time. So Fox was like, "You want to get in the match?" Yeah, I want to get in the match. I've been trying to get in the match since I started training here. I get in the ring, and it was pretty simple. They didn't give me too much to do because I was still new, and the little couple of spots that I had in the match, I just tried the best of my ability to do them. I think the best spot in that match to me was probably the arm drag spot that I did with Blackjack Mac, and I reversed a move of his out of the corner and hit him with a big boot, and that was yeah, but that was probably the only thing I did in that match actually. And after that,
Gotcha.
I was back on the ropes, and the rest of the match went like it went. I lost, of course.
Yeah, you can't really expect to win your debut.
Yeah, I mean, not when you'd done a couple of other people maybe, but
Yeah. So, we've heard about your first match. Now, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
My favorite match that I've been a part of would definitely have to be the scramble match at Brawl at the Hall for Dynamic Wrestling Association, the first one. And that would be because I got to share a little bit of the ring with Fox himself.
Oh,
Up
cool.
until that point, I hadn't wrestled him or done anything with him in an official match. So just to be in the ring with him for a few minutes, that was that's still my favorite match to this day.
Awesome. You know, it's funny. The other night when I had Dallas Cage on here, he was telling me about his first match, and it was a similar type of thing. You know, he showed up not anticipating having a match, and basically Fox asked him if he wanted to have a match, and he was like sure. So it sounds like Fox is really about giving opportunities when they're available, and that's great.
Yes. Most of the time, if you're there, if you train all week, you'll get a match. If you're there early, you'll get a match. You know, it's a lot of the times our card is it's not set in stone as if okay, once it's set, you can't do anything. No, because things happen and guys change
Right.
their minds. Guys can't make it. So once you go in there, you basically have to have that mindset of anything can happen. Because yes, that's I'm pretty sure there are a couple of other guys at the fort that can say that same thing about their first match. Like, I wasn't expecting to wrestle that night, but Fox is definitely one of those trainers. Like he loves to see, especially newer guys getting in the ring and improving. That's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things he really stresses.
Absolutely. So, what is the longest distance that you have driven to get to a match?
The longest distance I've driven to Arkansas, West Memphis, Arkansas. That's the furthest I've gone.
That's a good little haul.
Yeah, it actually began with a trip to Memphis, and once we got to Memphis, we extended the drive on out to West Memphis. So, but it was for a promotion called Bluff City Wrestling, and it was a showcase type show. So we went and we got on the show just to basically showcase our talents and to get a little TV time because they had, I think they still have their own TV network in Arkansas. So yeah, that's the farthest I've driven for a match, West Memphis, Arkansas.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Speed round. Swerve Strickland.
Yeah, kill shot.
Mm-hmm.
It, So when I first started training at the four, I had to go and research my trainer, of course, to see what his game was like and how he wrestled. I came
Mm-hmm.
across his match with Swerve and Lucha Underground, and I was sold.
Yeah.
That is still, in my opinion, one of the best matches that they've had in Lucha Underground. Like it was crazy. And I believe it was
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was the only match of that kind as well. I believe Fox and Swerve were the only ones to have that type of match. I think it was called a Hell of War match. And yeah, but yeah, I went back to watch that match, and I ended up seeing my trainer fall some feet through a glass pan, and yeah, I was like, okay, I can train for him. I can train with him.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. I recently have started kind of going down the Lucha Underground rabbit hole, and I just actually finished season one. I'm about to start season two, and I love that show. I mean, you know, such a unique presentation of wrestling.
Yeah, it was I believe it was one of the first promotions for me to do the cinematic
Hmm.
promos. Yeah, I think after that maybe Matt came and took on. Matt Hardy took it and ran with it. But yeah, I think Lucha Underground was the very first ones to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, a few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of having Marty the Moth on as one of my guests, and he was great. I mean, he's got a ton of experience and just a really great guy. Really had a great time having him on the show. So
Oh, that was cool.
absolutely. So I know that the two main ways of kind of figuring out a match are either working it out with your opponent in the back or calling it in the ring. Do you have a preference as to how you like to do your matches? Do you like to figure it all out in the back, or do you like to kind of call at least some of it in the ring?
Well, I used to like to call it all out, like planning most of the match, but I kind of like to leave room for those spots where okay, we have a little bit of time here. We know what we're doing next. Let's play with this time. Let's play with this little extra time that we have here. So it's a fine line, but the more you do it, I'm in my opinion, the more you do it, the more you want to just call it on the fly because it's more fun that way. However, it's a lot safer most of the time to call it out beforehand and know what you're going into before you actually go into the match.
Right, right. So this next question, I don't know if this really applies to you, but I'll go ahead and ask it anyway. And that is, if you have worked in other countries or cultures, how would you handle language barriers when it comes to interacting with fans or even working with your opponents?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't actually had a lot of experience with that yet. The most experience I've had dealing with other cultures would probably be doing a couple of lucha shows. But even at those lucha shows, a lot of those fans they speak English, so I,
Right.
I I haven't really had that opportunity yet. And a lot of the luchadors that I've wrestled also speak English, so yeah, I haven't had that opportunity yet.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I've talked to some people that have, and most of them, when it comes down to it, wrestling is kind of a universal language. So, you can sort of compensate for the language barriers by, a lot of just body language and pantomime. So,
Oh yeah.
so if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
That's a good question. Uh, I guess I would say I'd rather be great on the mic.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd rather be great on the mic.
Okay. Is there a reason?
Well, a lot of my favorite wrestlers are great on the mic, so
Yeah.
it would definitely appease to me to be a good talker. I've always tended to lean more towards the talkers than the workers. I like a lot of workers, but a lot of my favorites are tend to be talkers. You have guys like The Rock, you have guys like Stone Cold. Even with today, you have guys like LA Knight, you have guys like CM Punk. Like I like the talkers. So yeah, I would definitely rather be great on the mic. And then with that also comes I can always get better in the ring. You can get better on the mic also, but you can get better in the ring, a lot easier than it would be to get better on the mic.
Very true. Speed round. Chad Gable.
um, where underrated.
Yeah.
That yeah,
Uh,
I was trying to find it, but that's it. Underrated.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was exactly what I was thinking. Uh, that guy, not only has the amateur background and everything, but I mean he's really become a very effective talker as well.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm hoping that one of these years he gets a good push and really gets a good run.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that as well. I've been waiting on him to get that push. He's really improved on the mic, and he's always had it in the ring.
Absolutely. So I don't know if this if you're going to necessarily have a story here, but I'll go ahead and ask this anyway, and that is, what has been your most unusual encounter with a fan?
I'm not really sure if this counts as unusual, but I did have a fan steal one of my T-shirts before. I was at it was at Committed to Wrestling. I was in
Hmm.
Memphis, wrestling a show with my tag team partner Reggie Rage, and I saw the shirt. The fan asked me about the shirt. I said, "Oh yeah, I'll come back and get the shirt after the show." I came back after the show. The fan and the shirt was gone.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure that has happened to other wrestlers before, which is why I said I don't know if that counts as unusual. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting day. I mean, of course, it was a little kid, so I wasn't gonna do much about it anyway. But
Right.
yeah, that happened.
Gotcha. So, do you have a preference yourself between working heel or babyface?
Yes, I definitely have a preference. I like working heel simply because you have more freedom. Like as a baby face, you kind of have to work within the confines of the structure of the match, and there are a lot of little things that you have to do as a face to get yourself over. When as a heel, a lot of times you don't have to do much, especially if you know your crowd or you know your character. Once you know who you are as a character and you know how to get yourself over as a heel, you don't have to do much at all, and you have a lot of freedom to do anything. So it's like you can do a lot, but you don't have to do a lot, and I like that.
Gotcha. So, can you share an example of a time when you had to completely improvise during a match, where something about the match completely went off the rails, and you just kind of had to sort of figure stuff out on the fly?
Yes, I've had a I've had a couple of matches like that at the Four actually, which is the beauty of our training school is we get those wrinkles out so that it's less likely to happen outside of the school. But I had a match with one of my mates by the name of DJ Bruner, and we had a situation happen where he was supposed to do something off of the top rope, and I was supposed to cut him off. However, when I cut him off, he fell completely off of the top post onto the floor.
Mm.
Yeah. So I've never been in a situation at that point where something had went that wrong. So I had to I had to stay in character, and I almost came out of character. Luckily, there were a couple of people there that were able to help us because, like, in those matches, Fox does a pretty good job of trying to make sure that guys are staying in the moment. He throws out critiques and things of that nature. It's very slick how he does it, but he will slide in, throw you some tips to let you know, okay, here we go. It's time to go to the next spot, and then he would go back to sit down on and finish watching the match. And in that moment, that's what happened. They had to let me know, like, you're still in the middle of the match. Fans are still watching. You can't, you got to stay into it. Like, you still got to act like you meant to do that, even though you didn't.
Right.
And yeah, it was a lot. I got frustrated at the end of that match. I'm not gonna lie, because I had to improvise, and this was the first time that I had to improvise in a match. And although we are trying to hurt each other, we're not trying to hurt each other. And I pride myself on being a safe worker.
Gotcha. So, in terms of your in ring work and your promos, who or what would you say are some of your influences? And it can be other wrestlers, it can be pop culture, any of that.
Well, with as far as my influences go, I have a lot, but I'll just narrow it down to a few. So as far as non wrestlers go, I've always been a big fan of Mr. T.
Mm-hmm.
So and of course, with him being a little bit involved in pro wrestling, it kind of made it better. But I didn't know this when I first ran into Mr. T. When I first found out about him, I had no clue about him being a WrestleMania or anything. I knew about him from the 18.
Yep.
Yeah, watching those episodes with my great grandma and my auntie.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I was always enamored with him just because he looked different. Like the man had them chops and then mohawk and those big old earrings, and he was super swole with the vest on, the jean vest. That was my first time like seeing somebody like that, and he was always just charismatic. He was charismatic on
Mm-hmm.
the camera. He was charismatic off camera, and you could just feel the radiation coming off of him. And somebody else, non-wrestling, that actually had some involvement in pro wrestling, Muhammad Ali,
Mm-hmm.
by far the greatest talker in boxing. he's already
Absolutely.
he's already beating you just by words before y'all even get in the ring.
Yep. He's living in your head rent free.
Exactly. We are exactly. He's in everybody's head rent free with lines like that. But and
Mm-hmm.
and and when I can go into wrestling now. Um, Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Chris Jericho is somebody that he's influenced me simply because of his longevity.
Yep.
Like
And his ability to reinvent himself.
exactly. Like he's always doing something else. Like you would be like, he's still wrestling after all this time? Yes, but he's giving you something you didn't see back then. So just because he's still wrestling and you remember him from those days back in WCW or WWE or when he went when he went to New Japan, you can't look at none of those things because you can't even look at what he did in the last 6 months in AEW.
Exactly.
And
And
that's
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's one of the things that caught me early when I started to look at wrestlers early in my career. When I started, he was one of the first people that I looked at as an influence because of the simple fact of he was doing something completely different at that time, and now he's still doing it again. And I'm pretty sure by the end of the year or sometime next year, he's gonna be doing something else.
Yep. I think he does a lot of that honestly just to keep from getting bored with it. I mean,
And that could be it, and that's perfect for a wrestler. I mean, for a fan, because that means that we never have to get tired of you because you're never gonna get tired of doing something else.
absolutely.
Like my son is gonna become a fan of you, but off of things that he's gonna see you do in AEW, and he's almost never gonna know about the things you did before that.
Yep. Yep. Something that I've always thought is really cool about Jericho is that, he had two childhood dreams to be a wrestler and to be a rock star. And he's managed to make both happen. I mean, that is
Yeah,
just amazing. I mean,
that he did. That he did.
so do you have an all time favorite match as a fan? a match that you can have watched it a million times and it never really gets old, and there's always some new little nugget that you can kind of pull out of it, even though you've seen it countless times.
Yes. I talk about this match a lot simply because it's exactly that for me. But it would be the match between Triple H and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. I believe it was 25 when Randy was essentially taking out the entire McMahon family and Triple H had to step up and be the White Knight. That match, it's because of the two different dynamics. We were cheering Triple H simply because of how good of a heel Randy was being, and a lot of us
Mm-hmm.
forgot that right before that happened, Triple H was being a heel. Like
Yep.
he had just finished being the guy that we all hated. However, a new bad guy come in town. He's doing more stuff to people than Triple H was doing, and he even had the nerve to go at Triple H.
Yep.
I'm sold.
Yep.
I'm sold. And then when Triple H ran to Randy house and he came and kicked his door down, they just referenced that a couple weeks ago, and I popped for that
Yep.
because that was my favorite part of that entire rivalry. Like, just it was so out of left field at that time. Like I had never seen that. So just to see a wrestler sitting down at home, he's cutting a promo or doing an interview, and then all of a sudden, hey, Triple H is here. And then for him to actually proceed to fight him in his home, yeah, that was wild and entertaining to me. That was almost like Stone Cold and Booker T for me because I was a little too
Mm-hmm.
young. When I was old enough to know about it, but I wasn't watching wrestling around that time. So yeah, that would be my Stone Cold and Booker T, that Randy and Triple H spot.
Gotcha. That was right around the time that Randy Orton was punting everybody in the head, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is exactly when that was going on.
Yep. Yep. Speed round. And it's funny, you were just kind of bringing up New Japan, so this next name should be somewhat familiar to you since you've got some familiarity with New Japan, and that is Zack Sabre Jr.
Uh, can I find the word? What's the word? What's the word? This is challenging. I've already used innovative. I've already used uh dominant. Technical. I mean, he used to go.
Yeah,
He liked to call himself the best technical wrestler in the world. So, technical.
and it's really hard to argue that point with him. The guy is just flat amazing in the ring.
He is. He definitely is. I like watching his matches. Some of his spots are just some of his spots are just wild.
For sure. So, and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent for you? Who would Don Cameron love to work?
Oh, I can give you both.
Okay.
So a present day worker that I would like to work right now, Bronson Reed.
Ooh,
I
that would be fire.
and as a big guy, I've already become enamored with working other big guys. I don't mind working the smaller guys, but with a bigger guy, I can do more than what I would normally do with a smaller guy. And that me and Bronson tear the house down. He do the tsunami on me. I'd give him one similar because I splash off the top too. We would tear the house down. I would definitely love to work with him. And from the past, JBL. I would
I could
love to
see
have worked.
that being a good program too, man.
Yeah, I would love to work with JB. I just I like his clothesline. You know,
Yeah.
I would sell that like crazy. I don't know, you know, I don't know if I would be able to get one back in on him like that, but I would definitely sell one for him. But yeah, I would like to face Bronson Reed now, and I definitely would have liked to face JBL back then.
You know,
And the corporate JBL. That's
yeah,
that's the one. I would, yeah, because I ain't like that one. I like Bradshaw when he was in the APA. I ain't like John Bradshaw Layfield.
yeah, yep. You know, the program Bronson Reed has going right now with Seth Rollins is really good. I'm really enjoying those two working together.
Yeah, I like the push that he's getting.
Yeah, he's earned it for sure.
Yeah, he's been doing his thing. I knew when he first showed up to attack Seth, I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's about time. It is about time.
Mm-hmm. You know, somebody else from the past that I could see you working very well with is Big Van Vader.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think
Yeah,
you and Vader in his prime would have torn the house down.
yeah, I would. I would. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, me and Vader would definitely. Oh my god, that would be an amazing match. Me and Vader. It's funny.
Yeah,
It's funny because my partner he used to say that to me. Yeah, man, you got to do like Big Van Vader, man.
yep,
That's that. Yeah, me and Vader definitely would have a good one.
absolutely. So you've only been doing this for a couple of years, so I'm not sure how much this will apply, but I'll ask it anyway, and that is, what hurts right now?
My knee.
Which one?
Uh, it's it's just a little sore. I've been wearing a brace for a little while, so most of the time when I put a little too much pressure on it, I need to sit down. It'll let me know. But yeah,
Gotcha.
right now my knee hurts. It'll be fine by the time I get in the ring. It's always fine by the time I get in the ring. For some reason, I can't walk around at home on a regular basis without it aching me, but I can get in the ring and yeah, the pain goes away.
Well, you know, they say adrenaline is a hell of a drug.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
So which knee is it? Right or
The right
left?
knee. This is the
Right
right knee.
knee. Okay. And what is the most significant injury that you suffered either in wrestling or training?
I had a shoulder injury for a while. It wasn't a major injury where I needed surgery or anything like that, but I couldn't I didn't have full range for a couple of weeks. So I had to sit down and let it heal and do a little bit of therapy with it, but it wasn't anything major.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I've been blessed right now this early in my career to not have had any major injury so far.
That's awesome. Hopefully it stays that way.
I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking
Hmm.
the same thing. I hope it stays that way.
Speed round. Mark Briscoe.
I already used underrated. Uh Indie legend.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
He's
For sure.
definitely one of those legends on the indie scene. Um I just recently I just recently started to go back and watch some of Mark and his brothers matches, and yeah, only your brother.
Yep.
Only your brother, because I could definitely see me only having those type of matches with my brother. I don't think anybody else that I've trained with would want to even try to go that far in a match. But those guys, Yeah, that's brotherly love right there. We gonna make each other work in this business. That's how you
Yep,
got to do it.
yep, yep. The matches the Briscoes had with FTR were just top notch.
Yeah, they were on a mission to prove that they were one of the top tag teams, and they did it.
Yep, they sure did. And ultimately such total respect between both teams too, and you kind of love to see that.
Yeah, because they could have easily been like, well, they beat us, but we don't have to respect it. We don't have to shake their hand. We lost. They they said
Yep,
they were better than us, and they won.
yep, yep, yep. So in general, what are your thoughts on the current state of the business?
Well, my current thoughts are it's in a great state right now. I mean, you have more talent maybe than we've ever had in the industry, and people are. It's like you said, it's cool to be a wrestling fan again, but it's also becoming cool to be a wrestler. So you have more people now than ever trying to be a pro wrestler. So yeah, I think we're in a great state right now.
Yeah, yeah. And the more people wanting to be a wrestler is both a good thing and a bad thing, because there are probably, I mean, I don't know this to be a fact, but there are probably people showing up to wrestling schools that have no business trying to be a wrestler.
Yeah. Yep. You're absolutely right about that. We had a couple at the A4, and we kind of have a way of weeding those guys out though. So you won't last long at the A4 if you're not really trying to do this, or if you don't have any business doing this. We're gonna find out.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling?
It is a blessing and a curse, in my opinion, because it is definitely an easier way to network, and you don't have to necessarily chase people down or pull up and sit outside of their venue and wait all day anymore, like you had to in the older days. However, that has led to a lot of people just wanting to be have spots, and you just want to have the cool spot in the match, and the rest of your match might not be all of that, but you wanted to make sure this one spot was caught so that you can put it on social media and get your likes and your views and your clicks. And sometimes it could be more, it can hurt more than it can help.
Right, right. So, you're still a pretty young guy, but if you could give any advice to your younger self, knowing everything that you know now, what would it be?
To go for it. Don't second guess. Don't believe that because someone else told you couldn't do it, you can't do it. Go for it. The first time that you have that thought that you can do it, try it.
Wise words.
Yeah,
And
had I known what I know now, I probably would have started wrestling shortly after high school. Because it came so easy and it's so much fun. Yeah, had I known what I know now, I probably would have started right out of high school.
gotcha. So, aside from seeking out AR Fox, do you have any advice for young people looking to break into the business?
Yeah, just commit. Just commit. It's gonna be hard. It's even after you graduate and start to hit the road and start to actually live this life, it's still gonna be hard. It's never gonna get easy. So just commit to it. You can't do something like this without being committed and a little bit delusional. So just commit. If you want to try to
Yep.
be a pro wrestler, understand that this is not a 1 season, 2 season job. You can be wrestling for 12 years and still be wrestling at the local barbecue shop down the street. So just commit to it. You have to love this.
Yep. Speed round. Randy Orton.
The Viper.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
can go
apex,
I can
the
go
apex
on with him.
predator.
I can go on with him, the legend killer.
Yep.
I can definitely that he's one of my favorites. So yeah, I
Yeah.
can go on for a while about Randy Orton.
I'm interested to see where all this stuff with him and Kevin Owens and Cody is going.
Yeah, me too, because it's from the way Randy been talking lately, he got a tell. He might be about to do the same thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he definitely looked at that belt.
Yep,
Well,
I was actually just going to bring that up. You know, every time that belt's around, you see Randy's eyes kind of
he
look over there, and it's like,
he's
uh-oh.
definitely looking. And he like, Randy, he getting old, he getting up there. He got less time ahead of him than behind him. So
Yep,
yeah, he ain't.
absolutely.
That's just like with John when he was around. Everybody was thinking maybe John about to try to go for that 17. Yeah, you never know. You never know when you about to stop. So yeah, I understand him. I understand it completely, but not on Cody. Not
Well,
on Cody. That's
yeah,
supposed to be your boy. You were the first person he came looking for when he came back.
yep, yep. But, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. So,
Yeah, it is. I'm excited. Kevin is doing a lot of things right now as well. Like
mhm.
I'm very excited to see where this is going.
So, do you have a favorite move, something that you just absolutely love doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you won't do, or at least you would rather not do? And that can be giving or receiving.
Okay, yeah, my favorite move, my favorite move is the choke slam. Yeah, yeah, it's I've done it a couple of different ways, but I've settled on just standing tall and slamming them with it. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite move. I tend to file it away unless I know I'm going over. I don't like to really use it if I'm not going over.
Hmm.
And a move that do, I wouldn't do a moonsault right now. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. That would be a disaster. Yeah, I'm top heavy, so I haven't done enough training on doing the moonsault yet. But
Gotcha.
being at the A4 is it yeah, I'm at the A4 you don't really have those excuses. So if y'all see me doing the moonsault one day, just know it's because I trained at the folk.
Absolutely. You know, it was funny the other night when I had Dallas Cage on here and asked that question. You know, the move that he hates taking is the choke slam. He said I'm a little guy, and he said all these big guys lift me up so high and slam me down. He just hates
Oh man.
he hates getting choke slammed.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not sure if I'm a part of that list or not yet, but if I am Dallas, I apologize. If I'm not, I apologize right now because I will be soon.
Yep. So, do you have any pre-match traditions? Basically, any things that you try to do consistently before you go through the curtain?
Yes, so basically my music, I do my own theme song, so I kind of like to let the intro play, and I let the beginning of it play a little bit. And basically, while it's playing, I'm just talking myself up in my head, like I'm getting myself prepared. Like you got this, you know what you're doing. You about to go out here and kill it. You about to put on a good show. About to be out, we got to go out here and be safe. We got to go out here and get the job done and get these fans to either boo you or cheer you, depending on what you are that night. Because I can be face or I can be heel. But yeah, that's really my ritual. I'm just kind of like psyching myself up. I'm pretty sure some people will tell you that they've been in the match with me. They see me pacing back and forth. It's a little thing that I do, but yeah, I pace back and forth a little bit and just hype myself up.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Something that we've done in all of these, and it's just been kind of fun, is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. And one of my previous guests posed this question, and that is, of any title belt design, past or present, which would you love to hold as champion? And it can be any belt.
Any belt, past or present.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
easy. Oh yeah, I was gonna say easy. I already know. I
okay,
already
go
know.
for it.
It would be the winged eagle belt.
Yeah.
It would be the winged eagle belt. More specifically, the one that was tossed between the Rock and Stone Cold. Simply because that they changed it. They changed it around a little bit. Like they were able to get their own custom variations to it. But once they stopped doing that, yeah, and went back to the original design,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was yeah. I like that one, and I've seen that one up close and personal since too. Not the one on TV, but I've seen a replica, and it looks beautiful.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. That's one of my favorites. That and the old NWA 10 pounds of gold belt.
Yes, that one's a good one too. I also like Ted DiBiase's $1 million championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very unique. I like that one.
And then just for laughs, there's the old John Cena spinner belt.
Now, me being a John Cena fan up until middle school, I actually would take the spinner US title belt over the spinner WWE title belt. But yeah, I was a fan of the spinner belt. I definitely wanted
Yeah.
the Word Life US title.
Yep. 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 And since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to pose to the next guest?
I do.
Okay, what is it?
My question would be, I'm gonna go WWE based.
Okay.
Who is their favorite King of the Ring and why?
Oh, good question. How would you answer that?
My favorite King of the Ring is King Booker,
Yeah.
and it's simply just because he completely revived his career with that one run. He even won the world title as the King of the Ring, and King of the Ring didn't win titles at that time. You were slated to win the title when you became King of the Ring. There were plans for you to win it, but it wasn't really a King of the Ring like theme that okay, I'm winning King of the Ring, and then I win the championship. And Booker T went and did it. And before that, he was just one of the guys. Like he wasn't being used as a main card guy. He wasn't being used in main event matches. Like, yeah, it was just cool to see him go almost. And then the King of the Ring match wasn't like a pay-per-view. It wasn't a big match. It wasn't a whole lot of promo behind it. He just kind of won it on a whim, and then that's what we got off of that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm going to take a look over at the chat room and see if we've got any questions or comments over there. Let's see here.
They're probably talking about the video not being.
Probably. Let's see. No real comments, but we've got a lot of people. A lot of people in the chat. I mean, it's definitely definitely a good turnout tonight. So we're
Yeah.
getting toward the end of things. So Don, do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Yes. Well, of course, every Thursday at the WWA 4, we have our live shows. They're normally free to the audience, but if you can't make it to a show, you can definitely check us out on YouTube. Our address is 152 Seelig Drive, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia. It's right off of Fulton Industrial. But again, if you can't make the free show, we're always going to be live on YouTube. Just follow us on WWA4 on YouTube. And I have a show where we have a show for Dynamic Wrestling Association coming up on November the 30th. It's called Fight or Flight. And that'll probably be your next opportunity to see the Dunn outside of the WWA 4.
Nice. And where is that show going to be at?
Fight or Flight is going to be not Wild Wings. Barn. Give me give me a second. Cause I have it here. Okay, it's gonna be at Barnstormers Grill and Event Center, 349 Jonathan's Roost Road, Williamson, Georgia. That's where we're gonna be at. The doors open at 6:00. The bell time is at 7:30. And again, that's Saturday, November the 30th. DWA Fight or Flight.
Very cool. Very cool. One of these days, I'll have to get out to one of the WWA 4 shows. It sounds like a good time.
Oh yes, we'll welcome you right in. You already interviewed a couple of the guys, so you basically part of the family already. You come in there, it's a free show. You come in there and watch some free wrestling.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely try to get out there one of these weeks soon. But Don, I want to thank you for your time. This has been a lot of fun, and like you were just saying, you can consider yourself to be part of the Throwdown family as well, and consider yourself as having a standing invitation to come back anytime you want. And this has been absolutely great. And I'd like to say, what we've got coming tomorrow night, November 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern. I've got episode 47 with a wrestler based out of Florida, uh, the entitled millennial Forrest Nystrom.
Okay.
And then next Tuesday, the 12th at 7 p.m., I've got episode 48 with a wrestler who is also a deathmatch specialist. I believe he's out of Tennessee, the Suplex Machine Anthrax.
Oh, okay.
And then on next Wednesday, the 13th at 7 Eastern, I've got episode 49 with a wrestler out of Chattanooga, Tennessee by the name of Jameson Shook.
Oh yeah, I know about them. Okay.
So those are the next three, but I'm actually booked up through the first week through the first week of December. So I've got a bunch more that will be announced, over the coming days. But we've definitely got a lot more of these episodes to look forward to, and I'm loving doing them.
Oh yeah, I
And
definitely gotta come back.
and so everybody that's been watching this live, thank you. If you like what we've got going here, definitely spread the word. I'm actually going to throw up my QR code here. If you click on the QR code, that'll take you to my link tree that has links to all of my various socials. So anybody watching this, please check out the link tree and follow me on my socials and all that good stuff. all of that really just helps all of this to continue to grow.
Yeah,
And
y'all go follow Matt, man. Go follow Matt.
and like I said, just everybody, thank you for watching this and enjoying it along with us, and for let's see here. Um, and We'll be back tomorrow night at 7. And everybody just have a great rest of your night. Love each other and keep throwing down.